Risk of Rain 2 has a lot of random elements in it, and sometimes it feels like you have no control. This can be frustrating for newcomers and experienced players alike, but being in 3D gives us the chance to take back some control over the outcome. If you're in a rush, those things are to use cover, have situational awareness, take advantage of the environment, understand your character, stick with your teammates, and be calm. Alright, I know that's a lot of things, but I promise to keep it quick. Of course, there are other things you can do, like learning when to dodge attacks and getting used to the game in general, but those things will come naturally over time. But these things are things that I believe take a little more thought and effort. So now, let's dive into the details. Number 1, using cover. There's a lot of enemies that have ranged attacks now, and some of them will always track you and always hit you, and the only way to dodge them is to actually break line of sight. This is a very different way of playing from the first game, and I know a lot of us are not used to that. So it takes conscious effort and patience to use cover. It forces you to slow down the way you're playing, but it's something you need to do, or else you're gonna die. There's just simply no way to dodge things like the Stone Titan's laser unless there's something in front of you. I know it's kind of annoying, but your patience will reward you when you don't die. So make sure there's cover nearby when you need it. Number 2, situational awareness. The best treatment is prevention, right? So, prevent yourself from being in a bad situation by always being aware of what's going on around you. Where are your teammates? How much cooldowns left on your dodge? Are you about to be swarmed by enemies? 3D makes it harder to tell what's going on because you can only look in one direction. So stay aware and always anticipate the worst case scenario. Have a backup plan for when things do go bad, and most importantly, don't be ashamed to run away and ask for help from your teammates. And that's another thing, it's actually possible to run away now, because in 3D, you can dodge and weave in 360 degrees, not just left and right like before. So stay aware and stay alive. Number 3, use the environment to your advantage. Another nice feature of 3D is that environmental details can play a large role in combat, and if you're smart, you can take advantage of them. For example, let's say there's a large group of enemies. You are much better off trying to fight them one at a time as opposed to all of them at the same time. So, to make that possible, you have to lure them into a narrow passage. A useful example of this are the fans on the snow map. If you go up one, you'll force the monsters to follow you one at a time, effectively changing it from being outnumbered 50 to 1 to only 2 to 1, which is much more manageable. Just make sure you have a way to get out of there, or else you'll be walking into your tomb when the rest of them eventually catch up. Number 4, understand your character. Some characters are better at certain things than other characters are. Therefore, it's important to recognize that and play your character towards their strength. And this is doubly true when playing multiplayer. For example, the Huntress is awful at fighting magma worms, so if you are a Huntress, you should be focused on crowd control and let the rest of your team fight the worm. That's just one example, but you'll learn to recognize other scenarios like this when they arise. Following from that, there are some items that benefit certain characters way more than others. So, if you're playing with people you know and trust, it might be better in the long run to share items with those who need them more. A really good example of this are bustling fungus. If you let your engineer take all of them, soon enough you'll have these drones that never die and can also heal you just by walking into them. So play to your strengths and allocate items appropriately if you trust the people you're with. Number 5, sticking with your teammates. When things start getting crazy, it's important to stay together. You're way less likely to die if you have someone watching your back, taking some aggro off you, and killing monsters near you. Unfortunately, the first thing we do when things go bad is scatter in all directions and run around desperately. So, something I found that kind of helps that is to designate someone as the leader for that level and have the rest of the team follow them no matter what. If everyone complies, it's pretty cool because you'll end up sticking together and it actually works sometimes. It's just like that one saying, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And last but definitely not least, number 6, stay calm. Everything I just said doesn't matter if you're not calm enough to actually implement them. So you have to find a way to calm your nerves and shake off the adrenaline so you can actually think clearly. This will help you do better in this game, and every game, and real life too. For example, let's say you're giving a presentation and you start getting nervous. Try to take a second or two and bring it together and just calm down. Try to slow your mind and try to slow how fast you're talking. Doing these things take practice and time, but eventually, you will be able to calm your nerves and make better choices, and feel less nervous. The same is true for the game. You can't make good choices if you're fueled on adrenaline. And sure, adrenaline's great if you need to save a child from a burning car, but for playing games, it usually just makes you end up choking. So calm it down, and you'll do a lot better. If you made it this far, I'd like to invite you to join the Discord server. If you're looking for people to play with, I think that'd be a cool way to organize it. And also, it should provide some sense of accountability. which would hopefully make people a little less inclined to be rude and steal items from each other. And hey, on the weekends I'll be in there too, so maybe I'll see you there. And if I do see you there, then we can try to apply these 5, 6, 7 things to beat 20 levels in a row. Because right now, I have no earthly idea how that's even possible. But thank you all for watching. If you found this helpful, make sure to leave a like. If you already knew everything, then tell me something I didn't know in the comments. And either way, have a good day. Peace.